this fat black woman got a husband protecting her, then he must be gay, or he must be out to get her, or he must have some type of ulterior motive, because he can't just be protecting a black woman. That doesn't make any sense. The audacity of a black man to stand with a black woman and be on her side, protect her, be with her, that doesn't seem right. I'm confused. Why are they doing that? Welcome to another episode of the That's Scary with Monique podcast. Listen, today we're talking about the Monique and Club Shay Shay podcast. And before we get any further, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I just got back in. It's Friday night. I'm a little bit tired, but I said, let me go ahead and knock this out tonight. And I want you guys to really pay attention. I am going to say that I am Team Monique. I believe what she said. She said what I believe. And that is that. So let's get started. So when I first started the interview, the almost 3-hour long interview, I loved the dynamic between Monique and Shannon. They're two people, two homegrown, cornbread eating black people. That's horrible. And, kind of Shannon Sharpe got that kind of country uncle, somebody who will tell you to pop the hood on your trunk, on your hood, so he can check your oil kind of vibe. And Monique is, she is the pure definition of an auntie. I think she might have even came up with that whole auntie thing. Now I'm gonna tell you something. Fun fact about me, I cannot stand to be called sis, and I hate when I hear people call people auntie who aren't their aunts. I don't like it. But Monique and Shannon was definitely given like uncle and auntie vibes. I really loved how they were together, and I have no complaints about their dynamic. So it starts off with Monique talking about the whole Taraji P. Henson and Oprah back and forth. Now, it's very telling because Monique was very upfront about, when she gave the same message of being treated unfairly by Oprah and, pay discrepancies, she got a whole different reaction than what Taraji P. Henson received. And she was very open about believing that the fact that she got a very different response was because she is a dark-skinned black fat woman. And, Taraji, while she is black, she's not fat and dark skinned. So she feels like there was a big difference in the response from, Taraji kind of expressing herself about pay discrepancies and Oprah than it was her when she did it. She kind of told us about the fact that, when she, meaning Monique, was the one saying, hey, I'm not being treated fair. Oprah's doing this. Tyler Perry's doing this to me. She recalled that Taraji told her just to hang in there and that her time would come and to be patient. And then kind of fast forwarding to Taraji, having a name for herself, Taraji being in the business, being a A-list celebrity and actor or actress, and now fast forward, she has come to the same end and the same experience that she once told Monique to just be patient and wait her turn for. And one thing I love about Monique and her conversation, she's for the culture. Now, I know people might disagree, but I feel like she just wants fairness. And I feel like she's the kind of person who wants to root for the underdog, or the person who, is being bullied, or the little kid who was being bullied or would, had nobody to sit with at the lunch table. Like, she goes for those people. And she spoke about, her and Taraji and how she did not like how, Taraji went from, on one hand, saying that Oprah did not treat them fairly. She made them audition when they shouldn't audition. The pay wasn't correct. All these things, to her writing a letter to Oprah, and then kind of changing her story to, Oprah actually did help us. And Oprah did, when she heard about their concerns, she went to who she needed to go to try her best to resolve it. So she changed her tune. And I feel like Taraji changed her tune, understandably so, because here's the thing. Unfortunately, there are not a lot of roles that look for Black women. And there are a lot of Black actresses and not a lot of Black opportunities or Black films being made. And you cannot fault Taraji for not wanting to be blackballed in the same manner, in the same way that Monique was. The horrible, horrible reality is that the same way in corporate America is the same way in, with these millionaires. Oprah, Tyler Perry, those people, their names carry weight. They have money and their names carry weight in the industry. So a lot of the press regarding Taraji P. Henson's comments was turning negative, and I'm certain that she did not want to face the same fate that now Monique has. And I can understand that. I could totally understand that, if you're complaining about pay now, then that means you don't want to be without the pay that you're getting. So I get it, Monique was saying how, you're not supposed to say names in this industry, especially in the Black space. You don't want to name your heroes. You don't want to say my Black hero Oprah or my Black hero Tyler Perry. Blah, blah. They are not the heroes and the kings and queens that we hold them up to be. They're actually maybe crabs in a barrel. And we know the crabs in the barrel mentality in the Black space and the Black culture. And we don't want to believe that people like Oprah or Tyler Perry would be the kind of people that would not, support, back, or at minimum treat fairly people who look just like them. I will admit that, it's very difficult to hear that Oprah specifically, maybe not Tyler Perry, because, that's a whole nother story. I think he's a great person, but I do think that he, I'm in a mixed feeling about how he uses Black women in his films, how he uses and represents Black women in his films. And that'll be another podcast. But for Oprah, I feel like we all have looked at Oprah. We've all grown up with Oprah, when Oprah was a news reporter, then when she was, on a small talk show, and her talk show grew and grew. Oprah truly is the Black girl dream, whether in music, whether in acting, whether in school. She is the underdog. She is the poor Black girl who was molested when she was young, and she rose from all of that to be one of the richest people in America. Like, she truly is a hero to the Black community. So on that same token, nobody wants to hear anything negative about her and about her not supporting the Black community, especially from within the Black community. But you also don't want to be that person who makes those claims, because that is not going to come with positive backlash. That's not going to come with positive results, because like I said, the Oprahs and the Tyler Perrys of our community, they do hold weight. And there's not a lot of Oprahs and Tyler Perrys in those spaces. So you don't want to be the person who calls out our heroes. One of the things that she said that I thought was just so sad but true. She said that we have a hard time seeing a Black woman with her chin up, but we can accept seeing a Black woman falling apart. So let me repeat that. Monique said, we have a hard time seeing a Black woman with her chin up, but we can accept seeing her fall apart. Listen, I have said so many times on the podcast and on my social media and on clips, Black women just want protection. And for some reason, that simple request triggers a lot of Black people, men and women. Some of the most heinous and evil comments that I've had in my social media and on my YouTube have been anytime that I have, said something along the lines of, hey, Black women want a protection. Black women just want to, if they have certain requests in men, or if they have certain, how do I want to say it? If they have certain boundaries, or if they have certain, the word escapes me now, but if they want certain things, then that is met with negativity. You know what I'm saying? And this interview just really speaks to the fact that Black women are not protected the way that they should be. And Black women are second guessed. And that is a true statement. Us seeing Black women, down, out, or angry or aggressive, that is what we are comfortable with seeing, because that's what we label Black women as. But if a Black woman is headstrong, if a Black woman is vocal, opinionated, then, oh my God, we're scared. We don't know how to handle that. And that's just not fair. And I feel like that is a lot of what Monique had to endure and still is enduring. I mean, again, I hate to say it, and she said it all throughout the interview. She said, I am fat, I am dark skinned, I'm a Black woman. She's an older one, in an older woman. So she has so many marks against her that makes the reason why Taraji can say the same thing that she said, and Taraji be met with a little bit more grace and sensitivity than when Monique expressed the same issues. I put here, she's a fat Black woman with the backing of her husband. Now, this whole thing about, honestly, this interview triggered me because, again, a lot of the content that I talk about is, having 3 older brothers, being very close to my father, having a lot of, male friends, and having male influence and energy around me that is just top tier. I am around Black men who are taking care of their kids, Black men who are making 6 figures plus, Black men who are well-spoken, Black women who are taking care of their wives, putting gas in their car, Black men who are just top tier. So anytime, that's my expectation of a Black man. So a lot of times when I have conversation about Black men and what I expect from Black men, it's because I know who they are and who they should be. And that is what I desire from all Black men. I know that I am the minority in terms of my experience with Black men, these top tier Black men. That's not a lot of people in general's experience when it comes to Black men. That's my experience. But there was a whole lot of conversation about Monique's husband and why is he always around, and them being angry that she has a husband protecting her. And if this fat Black woman got a husband protecting her, then he must be gay, or he must be out to get her, or he must have some type of ulterior motive, because he can't just be protecting a Black woman. That doesn't make any sense. Like, do you hear what I'm saying? Do you hear the audacity in what I'm saying? It's like people are saying the audacity of a Black man to stand with a Black woman and be on her side, protect her, be with her. That doesn't seem right. I'm confused. Why are they doing that? Like, why is that such a uncomfortable thing, such a abnormal thing for people to see? That in itself should say a lot. And to me, the fact that a Black woman standing with her Black husband and having her Black husband protect her, not just behind closed doors, but in front, out of closed doors, the fact that that triggers people, again, I'm not surprised, but that should make us pause and think and wonder, damn, why are they mad? Why are they calling him gay? Why are they assuming that because a Black man is protecting his woman that something has to be wrong? Like, that in itself is a problem. And it made me just so angry. I put here, there are no Black men behind Black women. Now, Monique made that point. She said it looks so outlandish for her to have her husband, by her side every step of the way, because none of these other women who have come out have Black representation. When a Black woman has an accusation, a lot of times it's her own people who don't believe her. A lot of time it's her own people who question her. Monique had spoke in the interview about the fact that, and I might be getting ahead of myself, but she spoke about when she was blackballed by Tyler Perry and Oprah and, what's the guy's name? Oh, I can't think of the guy's name. The one guy, that apologized. It'll come to me. But when she was blackballed by Tyler Perry and by Oprah, Tyler Perry called her and apologized and admitted to telling people in the industry lies about Monique. He admitted on a phone call with Monique that he was telling other people in the industry lies on her, lying and saying that she was difficult to work with the intention of taking her bag, with the intention of people not wanting to work with her. Now, again, that's important, and I have to repeat it. Tyler Perry admitted that he was going around lying on Monique, saying that she was horrible and difficult to work with in hopes of that stopping her from getting work. Monique recorded that conversation because, as you find out further in the interview, when, Monique just simply asked for Tyler just to make it right. Because like I just said earlier, there could be a lot of Black actresses, but there's not a lot of roles that want Black actresses. So Tyler Perry stopping Monique's bag has a bigger impact than maybe other cultures because there's already not a lot of parts and roles for Black women to go around. So for him to admit to lying on her, admit to stopping her family from being able to generate income, and then not want to make it right, again, that says enough. Like Al Reynolds always says on TGIF, where's the outrage? Now, that interview with Shannon Sharpe, that debuted, today is Friday, I think it debuted maybe Monday or Tuesday, and it's had over 1 million views, and it's had enough time for there to be some type of outrage when it comes to Tyler Perry and to Oprah. Now, listen, I'm for the culture. I don't ever want to down the culture, but when the culture is downing the culture, then we have a problem. And I feel like by now there should be a little bit more conversation and outrage and protection for Monique. There should be some of these Black leaders, trying to assist this Black family and this Black lady in clearing her name. Like, that should be important. And it really shows you kind of where the state of Black people are, and that crabs in a bucket mentality is stronger than ever. She was very adamant about, not getting the support that Taraji got and the support in general because she doesn't fit the mold. She doesn't fit the look. If she weighed a little bit less, if her nose was a little bit skinnier, if her skin was a little bit lighter, you know what I'm saying? If she was a little bit less outspoken, then maybe, just maybe, there would be support for her. And that is a sad, sad, sad reality. And we have to do better. Look, I get it. I get that there's pretty privilege. I get that there is, certain privileges that come with looking certain ways. But in our community, in our own community, we need to be about protecting each other. And I feel like that's a big problem and a big issue in our community. And I truly, truly hate that. Now, I put here that she was talking about slavery and Rosa Parks, and I put a note that said, should we still be talking about this? Now, in the interview, she referenced, other Black women in history who spoke up and what happened to them and, about slavery and stuff like that. Now, I get the point that she was trying to make. I understand where she was going about it. But my question to myself is, in 2024, I don't ever want to forget our past. But should we still be bringing it up? That's a controversial. Listen, this thing making so much noise. Ooh. That's such a very controversial statement for me to make. But on the same token, it's just a question that needs answers. Like, I don't want to ever, use our past as a crutch. I would rather use our past as a stepping stool to make sure that we're not, that we're progressing, that we're holding each other down. So, and as I say that, it makes me think, I probably understand why she brings that up, because you would think that because of our past, it would make us even that much more protective of each other, but it truly doesn't. And again, that's another conversation, because again, we've been brainwashed to hate ourselves, and, we are all scraping for that one or two spots in our companies, in corporate America, in Hollywood. Like they always give us a few little spots, and we're fighting for those spots. And things like this happen, which is very, very horrible, to talk about. Let's see here. We put Oprah on a pedestal. I think I spoke about that. I do believe what Monique is saying about Oprah and Tyler Perry. I do believe that Oprah and Tyler Perry, as we know that Daniels is the other man. But anyway, I do believe what Monique is saying about Tyler Perry and Oprah. And obviously she recorded it. She recorded the apology from Tyler Perry and the admittance from Tyler Perry, admitting to doing that to her, admitting to trying to blackball her in a already blackballed group. It's crazy. Now, she says in the interview with Shannon Sharpe that Kevin Hart reached out to her. Now, this was the part in the interview. I think this was probably, out of everything that was discussed in the interview, this was probably one of the most awful things to hear. I was writing my notes as I was watching the interview that, I actually put kudos to Kevin Hart for reaching out to Monique and saying that he wanted to help her move past whatever was going on with her, Oprah, Lee Daniels, and Tyler Perry. I was thinking, wow, okay, Kevin Hart, look at you helping this black woman, Come to find out, Kevin Hart reached out to Monique, said he wanted to help her, and he wanted to help her in any kind of way to bridge the gap with Tyler Perry and Oprah. He tried to do it. Tyler Perry and Oprah did not want to do it. Okay. He said, hey, let's just move past this, and I will give you money. I will work with you and produce whatever project that you want to work on. You have my blessing. You have my backing, and let's work together. Kevin Hart actually even gave Monique money, because again, the lies and the blackballing from Tyler, T-Pain, Tyler Perry and Oprah stopped her bag. Like, she has a family, she has kids, she has a husband, she has a family, she has a household. And when they prevent her from working, they're preventing her from earning. She has no money to pay her bills, So Kevin Hart gave her money. She paid him back. And he was supposed to work with her and partner with her. And then at the last minute, he changed his mind. Not only did he change his mind, he lied about it. So on one call, he said, let's work together. Let's work together to produce something and get you back working in all these things. She was excited. She was ready to start working. She goes to the company that they were going to work with, and Kevin Hart's assistant or manager told Monique that Kevin Hart said that he did not want to move forward. So again, I need to repeat that, because I need to make sure that absorbs in your mind. Kevin Hart started to come out as Captain Save-A-Ho and bridge the gap with Tyler Perry, Oprah, and Monique. That didn't work. Then he gives Monique money. She pays it back. Great. Then he says, they might not want to work with you, but I will. Let's work on this project. Let's get this going. Let's get this project going. Monique is excited. She's about to get back on, working. She's excited. This black man is coming to her rescue to protect her on one call. And then on the very next call, when she's ready to start working, he says, never mind. He has his manager call and tell her, never mind. He doesn't want to work with her. He has no recollection of saying that he wanted to work with her. And there it is. I put in capital letters, protect black women, Tyler Perry took money out of her family, took money, and she lost jobs. Kevin Hart lied. I mean, it's just this. People kept saying, well, damn, Monique is always complaining. She always has an issue. She always has a problem. She's always out here complaining. But if you listen to her story, she has a reason to complain. I don't feel like Monique was out here bothering nobody. She was just simply being a Black woman wanting what was fair. And because she wanted what was fair, because she stood up for what, feeling like she was wronged, now she has to be blackballed. Now she has to be, shunned by her peers. Now she has to not earn money, all because she just wants what's owed to her. That is a problem. That shouldn't be a surprise to anybody, because is that not the plight of the Black woman? When Malcolm X said that the most unprotected woman is the Black woman, do we understand why? It's a very sensitive conversation, and it's a very sad conversation, because a woman just wanting what is fair, not wanting nothing extra, not wanting, just to be, free money, not wanting to get over on nobody, but just wanting what is fair. She is blackballed. And we're kind of lashing out at Monique, but where is the outrage and the hold your feet to the fire when it comes to Tyler Perry and Oprah Winfrey? Why are we not holding them and making them accountable, or at least having the conversation? You know what I'm saying? When I saw Taraji and Oprah outside, they were taking pictures, I think, for Essence, and it was all over social media about how the tension between Taraji and Oprah was so thick. When I watched them on that, I think, rooftop, and it was very cold, I've had a lot of, not a lot, but I've had experiences with some older Black women and just women in general, or people in general, and I'm old enough to be able to look at a situation and see that something isn't right. And when I saw how Oprah, it's just something in my intuition, something in my just womanly gifts that can see that Oprah is kind of holding her head down while holding her head up, if that makes sense. I think that Oprah is trying to keep her name clean. I think that Oprah is trying to, while keeping her name clean, muddy Monique's name as much as possible. And I think that they should be held accountable. The community has failed Monique. The community, the culture, Black people as a whole, they have failed Monique. A lot of the conversation around this interview, a lot of it has been negative toward Monique. Why is she complaining? Why can't she just be happy with what she has? Why does she have to complain all the time? It shouldn't be a complaint just to ask for fairness. It should not be a complaint just to ask for protection. It shouldn't be a complaint just to ask for a conversation. Now, the part where Oprah had Monique's brother and mother on her talk show, that was just really the straw that took the camel's back. Is that how you say it? So on the interview, Monique speaks about Oprah reaching out to her before, all of this weirdness happened between them, and saying, hey, your brother who molested you has reached out to me and he wants to come on the show and be interviewed. If you don't want me to interview your brother, let me know and I won't interview him. And Monique was like, she really was happy, and she was really she felt protected by Oprah at the time, because she did not have to call Monique and ask her permission to interview her brother. But out of what appeared to be respect for Monique and protection for Monique, she basically asked Monique her permission to interview her brother. And Monique said, you know what, listen, I'm not going to stop you, or my brother from partaking in this interview. He could have changed. He could have possibly been rehabilitated in some kind of way. Proceed with the interview. Fast forward, Oprah ends up interviewing not only her brother, but her mother and her family at Monique's expense. Now, when Oprah called to ask permission, she did not say that she was going to put Monique's mother in the interview. And Monique was like, if she had known that Oprah was going to have her mother on her show talking about her molestation, she would have never signed off on that. And that's just another, example of how how Oprah kind of stabbed Monique in the back, And it's weird because that makes me feel like, is there some kind of animosity between, obviously there has to be, but before, what could it have been from Oprah, this rich woman with all of this access? What could it be about Monique that threatened or offended or affected Oprah to the point where she had to block her in the industry, bring her family on her show and talk about, what I assume is a very triggering and sensitive subject of her being molested by her brother, and talking about that on national TV to her mother. She talked about, not getting paid from the Parkers and fighting for that. And she said that, one thing she said that I was like, Lord Jesus, she is making a lot of good points here. She was saying that, after all those years of being on the Parkers, they have told her and Countess Vaughn that there's no money, there's no syndication money, there's nothing. The TV show that was on for all those seasons made no money. And she knows that is not accurate. So her and Countess Vaughn are fighting that as well. She said, who is getting paid from the images of Good Times and the Jeffersons, etc.? She said she has to fight for what is owed to her, because she knows for a fact that when the Jeffersons, when Good Times, when what's happening is in syndication, they're not paying those Black families. And she is standing up for herself. She's standing up for Countess, and Countess is standing up for her, and they're wanting to get what is owed to them. They're not asking for anything extra. They just want what is fair, and that seems to be a problem. Now, I put in here that, Shannon Sharpe. Now, again, obviously he's not a trained media personality, I don't believe, but I feel like he takes the side of whoever is sitting across from him. At that moment, he seemed to be on Monique's side. At that moment, he appeared to, be for Monique and be like reaching out to Tyler Perry to come on the show and make it right. But I do feel like if Tyler Perry came on that show and said something opposite, he'd be on his side. And then, if Oprah came on a show and said something different, he would be on her side. I feel like it won't go further than this show. He has no care in it other than having somebody to be interviewed by so he can have all of his streams on YouTube. I think that on every interview, he just takes the side of whoever is sitting across from him. When Cat Williams was there, he was on his side. When Steve Harvey was there, he's on his side. So he is very, like, I don't feel like he asked the hard questions or puts himself in the side of the people who are being talked about to kind of not fight back, but just kind of ask questions or pose questions that the person or the people who are listening might be asking. I think that he definitely just takes the side of whoever is sitting across from him. Now, I'm gonna end with this because this is where I fully ended the recording or the 3-hour interview. Tiffany Haddish. Now, I have a couple of videos on my channel about Tiffany Haddish and how she is cringe worthy. Tiffany Haddish to me is the most not funniest funny person I've ever seen. She's not funny. She definitely gives me cringe. I said that so many times before. Don't want to knock her down, get your bag. But at the end of the day, she's not funny. She is very cringy. Seeing her chase Shakira at that award ceremony, seeing her get these DUIs, she's just very cringy to me. But Monique brought up the fact that, Tiffany Haddish was being interviewed and somehow the topic of Monique came up, and Tiffany Haddish made the comment that, it couldn't be her dealing with a man like, Monique's husband, and she don't want no husband like Monique. And Monique calmly and respectfully said that maybe if she had a husband who protected and loved her like the way Monique's husband loves her, that she wouldn't have a DUI. Maybe if she had a husband like the one that she's talking about that Monique has, maybe she wouldn't, have appeared to be grooming a young child and be, in the press negatively about that. Now, again, we have to do better about protecting each other, protecting Black people. I feel like this interview was very enlightening. I don't think that we really learned anything new of substance. I feel like we know that, something in the water was not clean when it came to Tyler Perry and Oprah and Monique. We had more facts, but again, I think most people, whether they want to admit it or not, believe Monique. Now, I don't know a lot about D.L. Hughley and Monique. I know that there was some type of radio interview where, Monique said that she was made to feel uncomfortable, and some kind of contract issue or booking issue where Monique didn't want to be on, I guess, a flyer or something. I don't know the details, so I don't want to talk too much about it, but I know that, D.L. Hughley had a lot to say negatively about Monique. And it's just, as a people, as a culture, specifically in Black History Month, but any month, we have to do better about having protection, about protecting our people, about protecting the culture. The same way that we protect our children, I feel like we should have that same ownership for the culture in general. There should be some type of selfishness, some type of territorialism. I'm saying that wrong. Some type of territorialism. What I'm saying is we need to be territorial when it comes to the culture, when it comes to our people, when it comes to Black women, when it comes to Black men. We need to protect each other. Not even just Black men protecting Black women, but we need to protect each other. When we're in these spaces, when we're in the workspace, when, because there's been so many conversations and so many experiences I've heard from other people about how if there's Black women specifically in leadership positions in corporations, how sometimes they will not do the total opposite. They won't even help another Black person come up because they're scared that they might take their spot. And I get and understand why. I don't understand, but I guess with some type of weird conditioning and feeling like, oh, okay, there's only one spot, and if I help you, you might get this one spot I'm trying to get. I guess I understand how somebody might think that way, but at the end of the day, the more people that we help up, the less fighting we have to do when everybody gets up top, because there won't be just a one or two positions. We are our biggest. What do you call it? Oh, I'm so tired, y'all. We are our biggest threats. We are our biggest enemies. We are our biggest enemies. We are sometimes our biggest enemies. Thank you guys so much for coming to the That's Scary with Melanie P podcast and listening to my review on the Shannon Sharpe and Monique interview. Listen, drop down in the comments below your thoughts on the interview. Do you believe Monique? Do you not believe Monique? Let me know, and I will see you guys next week.